We all love the sound of money, and a $1,500 sign-on bonus sounds even better. That's right, Bellisio Foods of Jackson is offering a $1,500 sign-on bonus to new employees. Receive an extra $100 your first 6 weeks, then $400 after day 90, and $500 after day 180. Don't wait. Apply online at BellicioFoods.com/careers today. That's BellicioFoods.com/careers. Come work for a company who truly values their employees. Come work for Bellicio Foods.
Well, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Morning Show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, it's Monday, which means our great friend Pete Wilson is here to do the morning news update, and that's always brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you need any real estate stuff, Nia is the girl to call, 740-418-4135.
Okay.
Hi, Pete.
Well, very good. I hope you had a nice weekend.
I did have a fun weekend.
Okay.
It was great. Yep.
Right. Okay.
Went to the lake with some girlfriends from college and got to catch up with them. And we did a knitting circle.
A knitting circle? Somehow I didn't see you as a knitter.
I'm not really. I'm lying.
Okay. All right.
Book club?
Okay. No.
Not that either.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great that you got together with your friends. You need to do that. You make all these friends in work or college or whatever,
Yeah.
or even back in high school, and then, they just get away from you.
Everybody goes their
So-
separate way. So you have to
That's
almost
good.
just make it a point, like schedule it.
Yeah, once a year or something like that. I think more people need to do that. Some people are smart enough to do that. But,
Yeah.
you have a good time, and,
Yeah.
friends are so important.
They are.
All right. Well, on the news, we do have quite a bit to tell you.
Yes.
Good and bad, as always. And we're going to start off with a bad.
Oh, no.
Don't know a whole lot about this. We hope to find out a little bit more today. But the Vinton County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that what they are referring to as a shooting death, a murder, occurred in the early morning hours on Friday. That would be at 12:13 a.m. is when they are reporting it.
Oh,
They said that
gosh.
it occurred at a residence on State Route 328 in New Plymouth. That is in the northern part of the county. And all they would say at this point, I was fortunate that I was able to get some preliminary information, and they're going to put some more details together, I think, today. The sheriff's office says that the victim was a 33-year-old male. They did not name that person.
Okay.
They did say that this 33-year-old male was killed by another male, and that male, who obviously is a suspect, is in custody.
Okay, I was going to ask that question.
Right. More details will be released upon completion of the investigation. I hope that this afternoon or sometime we can flesh that out a little bit with some names of the victim and the person in custody.
Okay.
But we were able to get that information. Of course, the sheriff's office still investigating, at least on the back end, the double murder that occurred back in March. And of course, 2 suspects are in custody there and charged with a series of charges, including aggravated murder. That was a double shooting that occurred in March.
Yes.
2 persons killed at a residence on Frazee Lane in MacArthur. We've been following that as it goes through court. Trial dates are set, but still evidence is coming in, and things could be pushed back because of the involved process
Yes.
of discovery and review and all like that. But anyway, we will certainly provide more information once we get it, and we hope that we can get some more today. Also in Vinton County, another unnatural death occurred last week, this on the highway again.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we had a fatality-related wreck in Vinton County the previous week.
Yes.
This one occurred last Wednesday. It was on State Route 93, and it was in Swan Township, which is in northern Vinton County, almost all the way to the Hocking County line, if you're familiar on the drive to Logan there. According to the Jackson Post of the State Highway Patrol, who is investigating it, the crash occurred at 6:45 a.m., so very early, but daylight, on Wednesday, and it was between Schertz Road and Woodgeard Road, and it involved 2 pickup trucks. The crash occurred when a 1997 model Ford Ranger driven by Casey Jordan, age 22 of Albany, crossed the center line and drove head-on into a 2020 Dodge Ram pickup driven by David Mamani, age 62, of Lancaster. Mr. Jordan, the 22-year-old, was declared dead at the scene. He had to be extricated from the vehicle by mechanical means. Mamami, the other driver, sustained incapacitating injuries. They had to fly him to Grant Medical Center after initially taking him to Glennis Memorial Hospital in Athens. That crash remains under investigation. We've not received any more information on that, but once again described as a head-on where one truck crossed the center line and ran head-on into the other one. That, of course, is a two-lane highway there in northern Vinton County. The patrol did tack on at the end of the news release, motorists are always encouraged to wear a seatbelt on every trip. They didn't specify for sure that seatbelts were an issue in that death, but they
Just a reminder.
They did throw that memo back out there. All right, I know we've talked about death a couple of times already, a shooting death, a death on the highway. Our next thing that we're going to talk about is the back end of the death of Bob Rice here in Jackson. Bob, of course, for those unfamiliar who haven't heard what we've had on the radio, what we've had on TV, and the more in-depth coverage in the paper, was a very highly revered fire chief and firefighter in Jackson County. He died very recently at the age of 92. At the time of his death, he was the honorary chief of the Liberty Township Fire Department. He lived out that way on the Beaver Pike for many years. Very well-known gentleman in the county. He founded the Liberty Township Fire Department back in 1978, was its chief all the way up until very recently. He had the title of honorary chief at his death. All right. On Friday, they had his funeral at the Christ United Methodist Church, and then after that, they had a procession to Fairmont Cemetery here in Jackson where his burial was. Here is a video that our own Jeremiah Shaver did of the funeral procession.
Yes.
And you'll see some of the vehicles coming through. Obviously, a lot of firefighters there were involved in that. There were several fire departments, 4 or 5 fire departments involved in the procession, including some from even as far away as MacArthur.
Nice.
But now you see the 1927 model Aaron's Fox fire engine. That belongs to the Jackson Fire Department. That's Fire Chief Dave Channel behind the wheel, firefighter Stephen Moore alongside. And then right after the Aaron's Fox is the hearse carrying the body of Bob Rice. Then after the hearse, other units were in there. The Jackson County EMS was in there. There were fire trucks from several different fire departments in that procession as well. There's the Jackson County EMS. And then, as you can see, the ladder trucks of the Jackson Fire Department and Wellston Fire Department did something they don't do very often, but every now and then this is a major tribute to a deceased person.
Look at that.
In this case, a firefighter. That is the crossed ladders, which is a symbol of respect, and then, of course, the huge American flag hoisted in between those two ladders. It was a very impressive sight on Friday, and for the folks who didn't know what was going on, they probably wondered, but it was in honor of Bob Rice. So there is the hearse actually going under there. We're going to have some coverage, follow-up coverage in our Wednesday paper. We also have that video already on our Telegram Facebook.
Great. And
of course, we'll have things on the website as well. But at the funeral, there was also honors for Bob. There was a color guard of firefighters on either side of the casket during the funeral and just before the funeral. All the firefighters who were at the funeral, and there were quite a few, before the actual funeral started, they all came up and did a final salute there. It's very solemn. And then they stood at attention as his casket was loaded into the hearse. Then out at the cemetery, all the firefighters were out there as well after the procession there that you saw on the video. They did a final salute out at the cemetery as well. And then Dave Channel, who not only is the Jackson Fire Chief, but he's kind of the head of the Jackson Firefighters Association. He's the one that does the practice announcements over the scanner or whatever every Wednesday evening. He came on and did Bob Rice's final call there while they were all at the cemetery.
Mhm.
And according to Liberty Township Fire Chief Randy Baker, these big, tough firefighters, he said there was hardly one without a tear in their eye back then. So, they thought so much of Bob, not only because of the longevity, but because of the type of person he did and all that he did. He was active on fire calls well into his 80s. Such was his level of commitment and
That's amazing.
and dedication. All right, well, if I hadn't saddened you too much, we'll go to something a little happier now.
That's good.
And, this was an education for me, even though I've been around a while. The Jackson Apple Festival Committee and Jaffe jointly announced the Grand Marshal for the 2022 Jackson Apple Festival. And it is Raymond Wyant. There is Raymond right there. A lot of folks
yes,
know
I
Raymond,
know
or
him.
they certainly know his face.
Yes.
And we posted that, on Facebook off our website story, and it received a lot of comments and likes. It's very obvious to me, based on that response, that a lot of people in this town thought that Raymond Wyant was a good choice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other people, maybe on the front lines, that don't know a whole lot about Raymond.
Uh-huh.
Raymond is not a public official. He's not a leading businessman in town, but he's just a good guy who does everything he can to help everybody. Raymond was picked by the Apple Festival Committee because of his volunteerism. And I knew that he did a lot of good things, but I didn't know everything. Here is just a little bit of what he has done. He is a lifelong resident of the Jackson area, and he has a record of volunteer service to the community where he has repeatedly lent his professional expertise. He's a construction guy, a carpentry guy. He can do all those things, that I can't do, and that a lot of people can't do.
Very talented.
And he uses those skills and talents to donate his time to help a lot of good causes. In 1983, for instance, he organized and built the first weight room at the current Jackson Middle School. That, of course, when it was the high school. Over the years, he has volunteered his time and equipment through improvements to the Jackson High School baseball field. That's where his sons and grandsons have played. In the 80s and 90s, he planned and prepared for years with an organization from Alabama called Carpenters for Christ, which built the Emmanuel Baptist Church in just 6 days. That was an amazing thing. He also organized a group of men that volunteered their time and talents in building a large addition onto a one-room church at New River Gorge in West Virginia. He has also volunteered his time to help build the Upward soccer football field at the old Kinnison School lot. And more recently, he played a big part in getting the new Jaffe building done out on McCarty Lane. That's a fairly new building,
Yes.
Very handsome building, scarlet and gray.
Yeah.
I think it's the Ohio State University Annex or something with the colors. But he donated a lot of his time there. Doesn't take any money for this, just wants the help. I talked to Joe Wyant, his son, who is a former Apple Festival president. Raymond's 81 years old. He still does things like this.
He's still out and about.
He's
for
still
sure.
out and about. And Joe had a great line, and we put it in the story. He said of his dad, work is his hobby, and if he's not working, he's not happy.
Yes.
He just looks for ways to work and to help people. And so glad to see somebody like this, a behind-the-scenes guy who just does what he does to help people, have his time in the spotlight. And he will have it as the Apple Festival Grand Marshal. Apple Festival, of course, September 20th through the 24th on the downtown streets of Jackson. And, of course, I'm guessing if the common practice continues, he'll get to crown the royalty. And, of course, he'll have a place near the lead of the
parade,
Apple Festival parade. So congratulations to Raymond and his family, a much-deserved honor.
Very much so. Hey, by the way, I can tell something on Joey, too.
Okay.
I was driving to work on Friday, and now he is the, president of the Ohio Valley Bank? What is his title?
He is an assistant vice president, and I think you can say he's in charge of the branch.
Of the
here at
branch
Jackson.
here.
Mhm.
And you know what he was doing Friday?
What was he doing?
He was out in his suit on his hands and knees with gloves on pulling weeds
Okay.
out of the landscape. And I thought, good for
Out in
you.
front of the bank?
Yes.
Okay.
And I thought, well, you just don't see that every day.
No, you don't.
Good for you, Joe.
No, that's right. Well, Joe has seen his dad at work
That's
for
right.
many times. By the way, the Wyants, Raymond is married. His Wife's name is Linda.
Mm-hmm.
They've been married, I think, let's see, how long? How about 62 years?
Wow.
They'll have their 62nd,
Just 62, it's
62nd
fine.
wedding anniversary this year sometime.
Wow.
Not sure whether it's occurred yet. And they had 3 sons, and Joe is the middle son. So, congratulations to the entire family, and
Yeah, that's great.
especially to Raymond. All right. Well, they did have Pig Iron Day last Saturday,
Yes.
but the weather forecast and then the weather, as it turned out, was not
Stupid rain.
exactly ideal. But the show did go on. They had everything they were supposed to.
Mhm.
Obviously, activities were curtailed a little bit. They were affected. Attendance was down from what it normally is, but it was still a success in that they had it, made some money for the firefighters, and the firefighters tend to put the money right back into the community anyway.
Sure.
They're the different things they do. If they need equipment or whatever over the years, sometimes they've used that money to help, buy things that they need.
Which in turn goes
And I'm
back
not
into
sure-
the community.
I'm not sure if there's a project this year, but of course, one of the things they do is they coordinate the fund drive for fireworks, which
Yes.
now is twice a year.
Yes. Yeah,
not only,
Christmas time too.
Not only 4th of July, but pre-Christmas as well. But on Pig Iron Day, this was believe it or not, the 29th annual Pig Iron Day. About the time you were Horse Queen, they started this thing. So, but it's something that people really look forward to. It's a nice summer event, very casual. Everybody enjoys it. And the people who came out this year enjoyed it as well. The problem was the forecast all day called for rain,
Yes.
and it did rain in the morning. Not so much in the afternoon, but it rained in the morning. So how's that hit Pig Iron Day other than people not wanting to come out in the rain? Well, car show people do not like to bring their classic
Sure.
cars out in the rain. They normally have 135 or more cars. 135 last year is why I named that
Yep.
figure. This year they had 27. That's Marty Ross in front, he at Appalachia Old Car Club member,
Yeah.
Wheels of Steel Car Show. They were surprised they had even 27 because of the weather forecast and the way it was in the morning if people were waiting till the last minute.
Right.
But they did have 27. But when you have 135 entries and maybe, 3 or 4 people come with each car, you've got a built-in crowd.
Yeah, right.
So obviously, that's going to cut down on the crowd. But one of the things very popular about Pig Iron Day is the food. Because,
because it's delicious.
and it cost a fraction of what it would normally cost.
Correct.
There is the food line there at Pig Iron Day this last Saturday. That is Terry Turner in the foreground there from the Jackson Area Kiwanis Club, who is serving up the pulled pork sandwiches
Yep.
there to a couple customers. Back in the background, you see Mike Gambino. And there is Randy Baker. He is the fire chief for the Liberty Township Fire Department, and the Jackson Firefighters Association gets a lot of help here, not only from community sponsors, but from the Liberty Township Fire
Yes.
Department and from the Jackson Area Kiwanis Club with
Kiwanis,
labor, volunteer labor, and help. Randy Baker was up in the middle of the night cooking those beans after that big day with Bob Rice and like that. That's the dedication of these firefighters.
Yes.
And he cooked the beans and then he manned the ladle there to serve them. The Liberty Township fire people, they did something that they've done now for 2 or 3 years, and it's proved very successful, a drive-up service for
Yes.
Pig Iron Day. You can drive into the back of the bus lot there off Urine Street, and it is right next to the park. And you can drive up right there, make your order, pay for it, and be handed to you right in your car. You don't even have to get out in line.
That's service.
A couple years ago, they did it because of COVID.
Yeah.
Some people are maybe still sensitive towards that, but now it's just a convenience thing more than
Sure.
anything else. And they got some good business from there as well. Another thing that they do at the car show is what they call the plaque auction.
Yes.
And at the plaque auction, they sell dated plaques and they sell what they call furnace plaques. I think they sell 10 dated plaques, 2022, and then they have 3 plaques each that commemorate certain old charcoal iron furnaces. It used to be the pig iron furnaces, and now they've done it enough years that they're to the charcoal iron furnaces. Those are the ones that operated in the late 1800s and the mid 1800s. This time they were Latrobe and Cambria. But these are the folks who stepped up, helped make money through Pig Iron Day and the Firefighters Association by purchasing the plaques and the Speyside barrel. In front of the Speyside barrel, which Speyside is good enough to donate every year,
Yes.
is Brett Reed. Brett Reed is a city auditor, also a Jackson resident, but he did not buy it as a city auditor. He bought it as an individual, just supportive of the fire department.
Sure.
And you know what? They sold that Speyside barrel for 7 years at the auction, and he has bought it all 7 years.
Oh, really?
He has. And the price this year was $1,100. Very generous
Nice.
of Brett Reed to do that. The other buyers of plaques, you may recognize some of these folks who always step up. Cross & Sons Farm Equipment and Ansel Cross, Sherwood Folks Insurance and Dan Folks, Ron Queen, former city official, Southern Ohio Monument, Doug Habern. He wasn't there, but he made sure somebody bid for him. And then local residents, Arthur Harbor, Greg Irvin, Gary Carpenter, Harley Woltz. Harley is the son of
Tom.
Tom Woltz, who, of course, is the city electric superintendent, and then John Baxter Trucking. All those folks stepped up and bought the plaques. A set of plaques, both the dated plaques and the furnace plaques, were reserved for the Lillian Jones Museum.
Yes.
They get that every year free.
We got to see
And-
those, didn't we, James?
Right. And
We-
Ashley Aldridge, who is the incoming director
Yes.
for the Lillian Jones Museum, she was there to give a brief profile of the two furnaces that were featured this year on the plaques, and she also accepted. Was there in person to accept the plaques that will become part of the permanent collection at the Lillian Jones Museum. But all of our coverage on Pig Iron Day is completed. It will be in our paper on Wednesday.
That looks good.
Pictorial coverage. And that is, I had to get, that picture is important for two reasons. Those two guys are the leading officers of the Jackson Fire Department, Dave Channel on the left and Assistant Fire Chief, I think he may be called Interim Assistant Fire Chief, Kyle Hickey on the right. And of course, you need fire department people to make sure that they manage the fire and the grill, right?
That's right.
And that is some of the bratwurst and hot dogs that they were fixing for Pig Iron Day. You can get a pulled pork sandwich for $3. You can get a bratwurst for $2, a hot dog for $1, a bowl of beans for 50 cents. So, I mean, you're talking about really good deals. The pop and water doesn't cost you a thing. So you can see why it's very, very popular. But once again, even though it rained on the parade, so as to speak, still a successful day for Pig Iron Day in that they got it in, and a lot of people who did come out did enjoy it.
Good.
I'm guessing that maybe the attendance was down about half, and it was because of that rain on the front end and the lousy forecast.
Yep.
As it turned out, the rain stopped about just before noon, and it didn't start raining again until after 2, and that kind of closed things down a little bit earlier than usual. The Red Rush Band, by the way, was there to
Yes.
perform.
They're awesome.
Right, Alan Doherty and his crew were there, and everybody always enjoys their brand of bluegrass. All right, the Oak Hill Board of Education has some very important business they're working on, and that is, filling the gap with their superintendent situation.
Correct.
They will be meeting again in special session on Tuesday. We will be following up on that. But they are expecting to get temporary help from the Gallia Vinton Educational Service Center,
Yes.
an interim superintendent or superintendent services. But one of the things they'll certainly be doing is setting up their superintendent search.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Setting up their superintendent search process. So we will follow up from that meeting after Tuesday to see, where they're at on that. On Wednesday, August 17th, they are scheduled to have a full regular monthly board meeting. They did have a meeting on Monday, August the 1st, just one day after the last official day for outgoing superintendent, Dr. Marcy Shepard.
Okay.
But we will certainly be watching that.
At least there's help for now.
Right. Jackson Municipal Court Mark Music let us know that he had some notable promotions recently.
Yes.
And Jeremiah Shaver went over there to cover that. And the new promotions are Christina Edwards, who is the Deputy Chief Probation Officer, Gina Miller, who is now a probation officer, and Seth Irwin, who is a new probation officer. And they are pictured there left to right, Christina Edwards, Gina Miller, and then Seth Irwin. And of course, giving the oath of office, certainly qualified to do that,
Yes.
is the judge himself, Judge Mark Music. And so Christina Edwards, who is the new Deputy Chief Probation Officer and Assistant Bailiff, she has already served 12 years plus
Yes.
as a probation officer, so she gets to move up. Gina Gina Miller is a probation officer and also now an assistant bailiff. She had been on the clerical staff before. And Seth Irvin, who is also with the title of probation officer and assistant bailiff, he has transferred to the municipal court from the Jackson County Correctional Facility, where he was a corrections officer.
Okay.
All right, we want to acknowledge, I know we've had a lot of good coverage on television about the Lillian Jones Museum, the transition of longtime director
Yes.
Megan Malone to new director Ashley Aldridge. We want to acknowledge that we had a wonderful story that in conjunction with this in Saturday's paper. Philip Buffington did a real nice job covering this. There is Megan Malone there with a kind of like a interesting picture there where she's looking in the mirror while working there at the museum. Remember, Megan will be there through August the 15th.
Yes.
But Ashley has been working with her, I think, most of the summer.
I think so. Yes.
And, we'll have more on Ashley later. We'll have a follow-up story just on her. But, of course, she has deep roots in Jackson through the Henry family. She was a Henry before she got married. And, of course, great academic credentials, being a retired teacher and also, in more recent years, the librarian at the high school. So some
Yes.
excellent skills that align with what's happening, what happens at the Lillian Jones Museum. But you want to check out that article, which is not only in our print edition of the Telegram, but online too at the telegramnews.com. We had a new business open on Friday in Jackson,
I
a
saw
new
that.
ownership type business.
Yes.
What was used to be the Tea Caddy is now the Robin's Nest Cafe and Tea Room.
Yep.
Here's a couple shots of what the interior looks at. That, of course, is on Main Street, right next to the Marquet Cultural Arts Center, right there in downtown Jackson. There is one of the interior scenes right there. And the new owners are the Urals, and their names are Michael and Robin Ural. And they kind of are saying the same thing that Josh and Katie Powers said after they took over and they bought Arch and Eddie's from you and Jamie.
Yeah.
They want to keep it the same. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. We're going to have the same great meals. We're going to have the same decor inside. We're going to have some of the same items retail for sale inside.
Yep.
And they had their official opening last Friday. And
I saw a real pretty sign out front, very eye-catching.
it is
Yeah.
the Robin's Nest. And they will be open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5. And you can also learn about them on their Facebook page. We had a nice article that Alex Shope did in our Saturday paper. You can see that online as well. And he even went back on Saturday and had a meal there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just to support them. But that's interesting that they picked the Robin's Nest in the light fixture above where you went into the Tea Caddy. Now the Robin's Nest. There is a dove that comes every year to build its nest there.
Oh.
And I don't know whether that had anything to do with the name or not. Probably not, because Robin, of course,
is the
she's the wife and I think the main person involved there in the Robin's Nest. But you want to give that a try. They specialize in some really nice sandwiches there for lunch. And one thing that they wanted to put out to Alex, and this is certainly no surprise, is they could use some extra employees. So if you're interested in
Yes.
working at the Robin's Nest, which I think would be a very interesting place to work, you can connect through their Facebook page or call the business at 740-288-4832. Once again, check it out, the Robin's Nest and Tea Room in downtown Jackson. Also, another new thing that is going on the construction side in Wellston is the work on the depot there in Wellston. It's city-owned, and I think they lease it to the Ohilco Committee, but it's city-owned. And right
Yes.
now, some grant money that came from two different sources is being used to do some main improvements there in Wellston, and that's a shot there of some of the construction work from the outside. But what is going on is the installation of new concrete sidewalks, work on the park's gazebo, which is on the other side of the building, the addition of concrete parking on both ends of the park.
Oh, cool.
So that will be nice, especially
Yeah.
when they have events there. New storm drains, redoing the kitchen inside, and upgraded American with Disabilities Act compliant restrooms, new lighting, and more. You're talking about, when you throw it all together, a whole lot. These improvements were made possible by $200,000 in funding via the Capital Improvement Community Park Recreation / Conservation Project Grant Program.
Gotcha.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful.
But a lot of
Yes.
money, a lot of money. They also received $200,000 from the state capital bill to do some work on the outside, as well as improve the HVAC system.
I think the depot in Wellston is just such a neat building, and it's so pretty and useful for the people, and so that's great that it's getting a little facelift.
Right, it is. It's very
We all
historic.
need that occasionally.
Very historic, from the time that railroads were king in Jackson County,
Yeah.
kind of opened Jackson County up to the outside world, provided transportation before a lot of people had cars.
Yes.
So the depot, a very busy place. So glad that some years ago, when maybe it was in disrepair and not being used, that somebody had the foresight to let it go and then later fix it up.
Yes.
And of course, we have a couple nice depot buildings in Jackson too. The one that the Jackson Historical Society leases down on Broadway is one of them.
Mhm.
So very nice. All right. Because we weren't on TV at the end of last week, I didn't have a chance to tell you then about the results of the election. Of course, this was the one where we had 5% come out in Jackson County. Yeah.
Wait, what election?
Well, there was an election. It just a handful of people got to make the decisions. A little less than 9% in Benton County. I think statewide it was around 10 or less.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they came out anywhere. But the main race was the nomination on the Republican side for state Senate. And this was a seat that became open because Republican Bob Peterson, who's served there and is still serving right now in the last year of his second term,
Yes.
can't run again because of term limits.
Yeah.
But this was a two-man race between Shane Wilkin and Thomas Wong. And Shane Wilkin, who is a state representative from Hillsborough, there he is. You can see his picture. He was elected very easily. He received 78.5% of the vote over Thomas Wang, who is a businessman from Waverly. And Shane Wilkin, won't give you the exact numbers, but he won by about the same percentage differential in both Jackson County and Benton County.
Okay.
The 17th district is a big district geographically. A lot of it is on the other side of 23. The west side of 23 goes over into Highland County, Fayette County, over that way, then comes back east. Jackson and Benton counties are in the 17th district as well, and that's about as far east as it goes.
Gotcha.
But anyway, now Shane Wilkin will challenge Gary Boone, the Democratic nominee, in November in the general election. The winner will be the new state senator from the 17th district for the next 4 years. Gary Boone was unopposed as the Democratic candidate.
Okay.
All right. We want
There's not many people showed up to vote, huh?
No, not at all. Jackson Superintendent of Schools, Phil Howard, contacted the Telegram and wanted us to help get the word out about their situation with reduced and free meals this year. Now, you know, a lot of people are affected because of government programs. The last couple of years, everybody could get the free meals.
Yes.
That is not the case this year in the Jackson City School District. And he wanted to get the word out on that, you know, so people could plan for that. The school district, according to Phil, is unable to offer the no-cost school meals to all students. That was made possible in the past by the U.S. Department of Agriculture because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
All right. Now those permissions have expired, and now it's back to regular.
That was actually a topic this weekend at the lake. Everybody talking about, shoot, we have to pay for lunches
Right.
again this year.
Right.
This sucks.
And the Jackson City School District, some school districts qualify for the free meals for everybody
Yes.
based on federal poverty guidelines.
Correct.
Oak Hill does, Wellston does, Jackson is just a little bit above, and so they don't. Still pretty cheap meals. It'll be $1.50 for breakfast, $2.75 for lunch, $1.75 for breakfast, $3 for lunch for the junior high. Grades 9 through 12, $2 for breakfast, $3.80 for lunch. That is the full price now, so that's not a whole lot of money. The reduced price will be 30 cents for breakfast and 40 cents for lunch. That's not very much at all. Now, you can still get the free and reduced price lunch if your family and your household income qualifies.
Okay.
And you can apply for this through the schools through as late as September 23rd, 2022. Remember, school starts in the Jackson City School District August the 20th. Applications have been sent to the homes of students, and they will also be available at all the Jackson City School District buildings. But once again, the bottom line is free and reduced price meals, or free meals, let's just say, are not available
For
this year
everybody.
for everybody, regardless of income. They will be, though, in the Wellston and Oak Hill school districts, is the information that I have.
Okay.
All right, speaking of meetings, tonight the Wellston City Board of Education will meet, and it's notable because it will be the first meeting for the new superintendent, Brian Rao. Remember, we had him
Yes.
here on TV. So welcome, Brian, or Dr. Rao,
Yes.
to Jackson County. I believe he started on August the 1st, and this will be his first school board meeting. Wellston City Council met last Thursday. Phil Buffington covered that. He'll be having stories cranking out on that. We'll have them in the paper. But they have called for a special meeting tomorrow evening, Tuesday, August 9th. That is because they need to make some appropriations in a hurry before their next regular meeting. That will be at 6 p.m. In the City Council chambers. Jackson City Council will meet tonight, Jennifer. That's at 7 p.m. at the City Council chambers for people interested. You can catch, of course, that on the.
Sorry, somebody's blowing my phone
you
up.
can-
I'm just
You
making
can catch that on the Jackson City Council Facebook page. That will be live and then posted if you don't want to go. Jackson
Yes.
City Tree Commission will be meeting as well.
The Tree Commission?
The Tree Commission will be meeting as well prior
Didn't know that was a thing.
prior to the council meeting.
Who's on the Tree Commission?
All right.
How do you commission a tree?
How do you?
Well, there's lots of tree commissions around. Jackson always had one for a while. It became inactive, and now they've revived it this year.
Really?
Right, but
What
the-
does the Tree Commission
But it's
do?
through the city, but they just kind of take care of the trees, policies. Oftentimes they do something on Arbor Day to plant new trees.
Yeah.
But if I'm remembering my names right, I think I have them right here. They are Crystal Coyne Finch, Beverly Ondera, Bren Stepp, City Councilman Harold Newkirk, and City Service Director David Swackhammer.
Okay.
And I think they had their first meeting earlier this summer. This is either their third or their fourth meeting, and they will be meeting prior to the Jackson City Council meeting this evening in the
Gotcha.
City Council chambers. All right, we had the Jackson County Fair. We had the Vinton County Fair. We had the
Gallia
Gallia
County Fair.
Now
yes.
we've got the Ross County
Whoop,
Fair.
whoop.
And now the newspaper, we stick with Jackson and Vinton. That's plenty. But the radio guys, they cross the county lines. They will be at the
yes.
Ross County Fair this week, just as they were at these
Cool.
other three previous fairs. This is the 78th annual Ross County Fair, and it is a biggie. They have it. It's on the fairgrounds on State Route 104 north of Chillicothe. You just go past the prisons there, keep going, and it's to the right there.
Jeez.
The county fair being next to the prison. That seems appropriate
Well,
to
there's
me.
actually
I
two.
feel like that's the makings of a good country song.
Actually, you have to pass two prisons, plus all the mounds and all like that, plus
When-
the Unioto schools. I'm just telling you some of the benchmarks along the
Stopped by
way.
and saw Daddy at the prison before I went to the fair.
All right. Well, anyway,
If you misbehave at the fair, they send you straight to jail.
And then they put me in the cell with him because I was bad.
okay. Oh boy, you rehearsed.
This is why I don't.
That's
This is why
you-
Jess
that's
Kelly
why they
Adams.
don't let you do karaoke.
Right.
okay. Well,
We'll leave the singing and writing to Jess. How's that?
okay. I believe Jess Kelly Adams is going to be at the Ross County Fair, by the way.
Oh,
one of those
great.
evenings. But anyway,
Well, she better stop by
Well,
and
then you
see us
should
then.
You should picture your new song.
I'll picture my new song.
well, anyway, the fair in Ross County does go through Saturday, August 13th. It's actually started with some activities over the weekend. Our guys will be broadcasting 2 to 5 p.m. each weekday, is my understanding.
Yes.
It will be on WKOV 96.7 FM. Tonight, there will be free entertainment, a concert with Jimmy Mowry at 7 p.m. at the grandstand. At the bandstand, the Third Capitol Saxus will be performing at 6:15 p.m. And today is sponsored by Adina, and it's free rides day for the kiddies.
Woohoo!
All
Wonder
right.
what kind of rides they have at the Ross County
I don't
Fair.
know. It's a big fair, so
It is a big fair.
I don't know, but Then I think the veterans get in free a little bit later one day this week. We'll maybe tell you about that later. All right, speaking of fairs and fun events, we did Pig Iron Day, and we had now the 4th County Fair. They had a pretty nice event at Wilkesville 1 week ago Saturday. It's called the Wilkesville Fish Fry. And here are the queens. This year, they did queens for the first time. There is Miss Wilkesville Realty. There they all are right there. Going to give you their names. You have Little Miss Queen Bristol Graham, Little Miss Princess Aubrey Sowers, Junior Miss Princess Anna Davis, Betty Sowers, who is in the picture. She's one of the adult chaperones. Queen Sammy Cottrell, Junior Miss Queen Georgia Todd, Princess Kylie Marklam, Miss Congeniality Hannah Pridemore, and also in the picture there on the far right, I think we can pick him out from the rest of them, is Assistant Fire Chief Josh Perry. But the fish fry raises money for the Wilkesville Fire Department.
Yes.
And it's kind of like Pig Iron Day. It's a fundraiser, but really as much, if not more, it's just a day for the community.
A great community day.
And the firefighters,
Yes.
They volunteer their time and then they put on an event like this.
Sure.
Speaking of the fairs, we're going to go to the big fair now, the state fair. All right, it's going on now.
Drove by there yesterday.
Yeah, it's going on now. It will be over. It's over now, as a matter of fact. It was Sunday, August the 7th that it was over.
Yep.
All right.
Drove by yesterday. They had a ginormous big wheel thing and
Right. It
looked
went
terrifying.
It went on for a couple weeks. It
Couple
started on
weeks,
July 27th. But the local link, of course, is Elizabeth Fannin.
Yes.
And there is Elizabeth. She was a
Aw.
member of the State Junior Fair Board. She did a lot of things out front as kind of like a hostess, a welcoming person, and like that. And I learned just this past weekend, she was excited about this. She posted on her Facebook. She is going to be the PR coordinator for the Junior Fair Board for next year's state
love
fair.
that.
So she'll be
She's
back
so
again
good.
in a more of a leadership role. And so congratulations to Elizabeth, really flowering there
Yeah.
as a student at Ohio State University and being involved in 4-H /
Proud
fair
of you.
activities. Exactly. A former Jackson County Fair Queen.
Yeah. Not a horse queen, though.
No, not a horse queen. Okay. Also, we want to say congratulations to another young lady, a recent graduate of Benton County High School in the class of 2022, Kerrigan Ward. Kerrigan Ward received one of the major scholarships from the Ohio High School Athletic Association and its Southeastern Ohio District Board. There is Kerrigan right there. Was a great scholar athlete at Benton County. That's how you do it.
Yep.
You led her in so many sports, and plus you have to have certain academic credentials. And she received the Roger Thompson Memorial Scholarship. That is a $1,000 scholarship.
Wow.
It's just not the money. There's only so many scholarships, and all these student athletes apply for them. And so that's a great honor to win that. I believe Kerrigan was one of the valedictorians in the class of 2022
Way
at
to
Benton
go.
County, and a very good softball player to boot. All right, tonight, some things to tell you about. The Madison Township trustees in Jackson County. I need to say that because there's Madison Township in Benton County.
Okay.
Too. All right, the Madison Township trustees, that's the township kind of on the east side of Oak Hill.
Okay.
All right, they are going to unveil their new building facility. It's brand new. Not sure when they finished it, but tonight is the open house, according to Madison Township trustee Chris Walls. Of course,
That's
he's our buddy
exciting.
with the Fair Board,
Yes,
and
he is.
also a school resource officer now for the Oak Hill Police Department, former police department with the Jackson Police Department, all around good guy. But that facility is at 114 Smith Street, just outside the Oak Hill limits. The public is invited to come tonight,
Nice.
7 p.m. or after, to see firsthand this new and first permanent facility, is how they described it, for Madison Township.
Good.
Also this evening, this will be a little more on the social side, but worth mentioning, the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce is going to have a meeting, but it's really going to be a picnic this time. It will be at 6 p.m. At the Central Memorial Park Shelter House. If you want to attend, the chamber will provide meat, utensils, and drinks. You are asked to please bring a covered dish,
Nice.
a side dish, as a matter of
Fun
fact.
community
All
event.
chamber members and interested parties are invited to attend. You don't have to be a chamber officer or a businessman or whatever, or a business person to be able to attend.
Yeah.
It's a good get-together. I'm not sure they'll have a business meeting or not, but it should be fun. Weather should be agreeable, especially since you're under the shade of the shelter house.
There you go.
All right, some construction things to tell you about. The Jackson Economic Development Partnership has announced temporary road closures that will affect McCarty Crossing and McCarty Lane. They could have started as early as Friday. I didn't see any evidence of that, maybe because of the weather, but at any time you can expect this to happen. This is a road paving and repair project, which is the final activity in the redevelopment of the former Meridian Automotive Plant, which they now call, by the way, the Jackson, Ohio Industrial Site. That construction could begin anytime. They thought it might even begin Friday, but it will necessitate the temporary closure to the access road off Main Street that is shared by the McCarty Crossing Shopping Center, as well as the access road that is adjacent that goes to the Jackson County Banking Center from the back. All right. Now you can get into the bank from the front off McCarty Lane, so there's really no problem there. We're talking about when you're on East Main Street there, where you go down the road that used to go directly to the plant. But you can also hit the shopping center there.
Yeah.
You can also hit the shopping center from the side, though, on
Sure.
McCarty Lane. That's probably what you need to do once this construction starts. So, you know, all those stores in there, you know, you can still get to, but you might have to go to the side, to the McCarty Lane side there on the opposite side of the street from Walmart. All right, let's see, what else do we have? One other thing to tell you about. There's some paving going on in the county. Jackson County engineer Melissa Miller worked to get some extra money so they can do more paving this year than what they've been able to do in the past. One of those projects, not a paving project, they're doing one out on Chillicothe Pike now that will affect the traffic. However, another project that's going to affect traffic on a main county road, Canberra Road, is a bridge replacement project. It's supposed to start today, Jennifer, and it's right beside the Franklin Township Trustees building, the old Franklin School. You recall, you know, where those two roads come together, and there's that arching bridge that goes over the railroad track there. Well, that bridge is going to be replaced. That project will take about 2 months to complete. It depends on the weather conditions, but the Canberra Road and Franklin Valley Road intersection west of that bridge site will be closed starting approximately August the 22nd for construction purposes as well. But right there at Canberra Road where that bridge is, that was to close starting today for the start of that bridge replacement project.
So how do you get around there?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. You need to,
because
I haven't been out there. They didn't really give a detour, but the road will be closed there. The bridge will be closed certainly because they're going to replace it.
Okay. Understand that needs to happen, but boy, that would be inconvenient if you live out there.
It would be very, very inconvenient. But Jeremiah Shaver is here now, and he is going to tell you about a very special young man who did a very special charitable project in Wellston. It is really worth talking about. He's already written an article that we hope to have in our Wednesday paper. And he's going to tell you about it on the television now.
Love that.
And, you know, it's just when these things happen, it's just an example for all the youth and the adults as well on what you can do for others. And it's infectious. It gets other people wanting to do things and they want to help. And just congratulations to Logan Ramey. Jeremiah will tell you what he did, and it's something else.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, Pete, for spending your morning with us.
Hey, Jen, while Jeremiah's coming in here,
yes,
why don't we tell everyone that we have tickets to see Kenny Chesney to give away this week?
We do. We have, so right here, we have 2 4-packs of Kenny Chesney tickets to give away. We will be giving them away on Friday. And the concert is the
August 18th.
And these are, it will be held at Crew Stadium, which is
historic Crew Stadium.
Is that the old one?
Yeah.
Or the new one?
Well, I thought they just remodeled the same one.
They built a whole new stadium.
They built a whole new one?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, I thought they just remodeled what they had.
Oh no.
Okay. I don't know.
So I don't know if it's at the old one or the new one. I assume historic Crew Stadium is the old one.
I don't know. I've noticed that they've been branding it as such recently.
Okay, so we'll have to check on that. We'll find out. But anyway, it's like Kenny Chesney, Dan and Shay. There's I don't think Old Dominion's going to be at this one. But there's a couple of other artists as well going to be there. If you haven't seen Kenny Chesney in concert, it is an event that you certainly want to see. So how are we going to give those away, James?
Well, keep an eye out for our Facebook page, and we will update it soon.
Okay,
Let you
we will
know.
let you know. But if you do want those Kenny Chesney tickets, we have 2 4-packs to give away for free right here. And we hope that you enjoy that. Pretty
Wow.
cool stuff.
That is cool. It's
Yeah.
always neat, some of the stuff that we're able to go away here
I
at Total Media.
know. It's so
Yeah.
fun.
I was trying to think of some of the songs that Kenny Chesney does. My wife would be
Oh, like a
disappointed.
bazillion of them.
Did he sing the one? There's like it's like a Christmas one, like a beach and
he has a Christmas album.
album. Maybe that's the one.
All I Want for Christmas is a Real Good Tan.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yep.
And then that Dan and Shay. I don't know if you've ever heard any of their songs. I remember when they first started singing.
Yes.
They had some stuff on YouTube and some Facebook videos and stuff, and then they finally had put out an album, and they've just like blew up.
Yeah.
It's always amazing to see like when they start to where they're at now.
Yeah, it's fun to watch people
Yeah.
grow.
It
So,
is.
funny story. I can remember back when Kenny Chesney, I'll shut up after a minute, James. Don't give me a dirty look. I can remember he's like, time.
We got time.
No, I can remember going to a concert at Polaris when Polaris was still, a concert venue, Polaris Amphitheater.
Okay.
And Tim McGraw was the headliner. Kenny Chesney opened for him, and Keith Urban opened for him.
Oh wow.
And then, so because they were up and coming,
Right.
but it was like the most amazing concert.
I bet.
But
And
then,
now they're all like big time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
then I went to a Kenny Chesney concert, and years later, and Tim McGraw opened for Kenny Chesney. I was like, oh, this is just so
That's
funny.
cool.
It's gone full circle. But yeah, so I can remember, seeing him play years and years ago. And if you haven't been to a Kenny Chesney concert, he is so energetic. And a lot of his songs he loves to spend time on the island. So, of course, that's near and dear to my heart. So a lot of his songs reflect that as well, tell stories about their escapades and whatnot. Very Buffett-esque if you are into Jimmy Buffett as well. So,
Okay.
all
I
right.
have
Hey,
I have-
and just to clarify, the
Yes.
Columbus Crew now plays at Lower.com Field.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Lower.com
And the
Field.
old stadium where
Is
this concert is
Historic.
historic.
So
Crew
it's the one over
Stadium.
by the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a great venue, though, to see concerts.
I saw Bob Dylan there a long time ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a really good venue.
Yeah. Eric Clapton showed up unannounced.
Oh,
It was
that's
real-
cool.
It was really cool.
Those are always fun,
Yeah.
aren't they?
That's cool.
So, yeah.
I can't think. I think the only time I've ever been to a concert was at the Ohio State Fair a couple years ago.
Uh-huh.
Took the wife to see. I think it's Chris Young.
Uh-huh.
He's a country artist.
Mhm.
She really likes a lot of his music. But I think that's the only time I've ever.
Jeremiah,
really
we
been.
need to get you out and about.
I know.
son.
I just that was my first experience. I mean, it was neat. He put on a good show, and that's been several years ago that he was there. I think
Yeah.
before COVID and everything happened. So, but anyway, Pete was talking about a local young man. This young man, he puts a whole lot of heart and passion into volunteering for the community. His name is Logan Ramey. He'll be a senior. There he is.
Wow.
Wearing number 9, that Cincinnati number 9. That's
Yes.
Joe Burrow
Yeah.
jersey there. There he is pictured with a truckload of food that he brought to Compel Ministries in Wellston. There with him. That's
Aw.
Chrissy Tainer. She's a member of Compel Ministries. And Chrissy was telling me that each year in February, Compel Ministries has a free food giveaway. And, earlier this year in February, with everything going on, they had depleted their shelves.
Sure.
And since then, they've been trying to get their pantry restocked. And this young man, Logan Ramey, he was going to be a senior at Wilson High School here coming up. And I think school starts in like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard the start date for Wellston, but I know Jackson starts
The
real
15th,
soon.
I think.
Yeah. He completed a food drive for Compel Ministries. He set out to raise $550 to buy food for the pantry.
Yes.
And he ended up raising $1,140 in
Way
funds.
to go.
Yeah,
That
so
is awesome.
he superseded what he set out to do.
Yeah.
And he took that monetary donations and he purchased close to 3,000 items of food. So the back of this truck was completely full,
That is
and the
great.
back seat was completely full. And he delivered those last week on Tuesday, August 3rd. And I had a little video of him that I did that we'll show here in a second. But the Capella Ministry said that this food donation just meant the world to them. And they also noted that if there's anybody out there that needs food, they can stop by Capella Ministries there in Wellston. It's there on Pennsylvania Avenue, across from Dollar. Well, I was going to say across from the Dollar Tree, but it's next to where the old Giovanni's used to be. I think it's called like Brenner's Pizza now.
Yeah.
And you can stop in there. They are open Tuesdays, Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can also reach out to them on their Facebook page. They did say that they only give out food to people once a month, and they also have some diapers and baby formula on hand.
Oh, wow.
You would
Okay.
need that. So, but we'll go ahead and play this little video, and hope you guys enjoy it. A local young man who has a whole lot of heart and is passionate about volunteering in his community took it upon himself to feed those in need recently. Logan Ramey, a senior at Wellston High School, recently completed a food drive for Capella Ministries in Wellston. He had set out to raise $550 to help buy food for the food pantry at Capella Ministries. He ultimately ended up raising $1,140 in funds, as well as receiving some food donations. Ramey then took the monetary donations he received and purchased close to 3,000 items of food, which he delivered to the group on Tuesday, August 3rd.
I decided to do this project because I just love getting back to the community. I'm trying to be a caring person around town. You know, it's a small town. The inflation's getting to everyone. Everyone's kind of out of their jobs right now. And by doing this, I know that Capella will give them the food they need for their families, and then no kids will go hungry for it because of it. My drive to do all this, my Aunt Stephanie, who passed away because of breast cancer, she was a big local idol before she passed. She did this kind of stuff all the time. I'm a huge sports fan, so my favorite team is the Bengals, and our quarterback did a similar thing in Athens. He kind of showed the community that it don't matter where you come from, it's how much you put your mind and heart to it. Yeah, my mental mentality through all this is like to prove everyone that they're wrong. Like, it doesn't matter where you come from. I mean, I could come from some other small town you may have never heard of, and I could do something like this again. I mean, everyone thinks because you're from Wellston is that you can't do stuff like this. And I don't think that's true. It don't matter where you come from. It's just how much you put your devotion to it.
Love him.
Yeah, he's a great young man, and he's
Wow.
definitely going places. I wanted to mention this past year, Ramey had earned himself a President's Volunteer Service Award for his efforts to ensure no children in the community go hungry. He had worked with the Ohio Food Banks and the RSVP with their summer food service program, and he had worked with that program during the summer of 2021 to pack and deliver food bags. But after that program, he continued those efforts after school started back with a food drive at Wellston High School, as well as delivering food for kids in the local Head Start classrooms. Now, he not only is he an avid volunteer, but he carries a 4.0 GPA in school. He plans to be involved in esports, bowling, Business Professionals of America this fall. And he's not asking where he's going to college. He's not decided yet, but he did tell me he received an acceptance letter along with a $30,000 scholarship to the University of Advancing Technology in Arizona.
Wow.
So that's kind of his first big acceptance there, and he's applied to some others. He didn't mention them, but
Nice.
this young man, he's
deserving of all of that,
yeah,
it
heart
sounds.
of gold there. And,
Wow.
he's just a great young man.
Yeah. How did you hear about him?
His mother reached out to me.
Oh, okay.
And said,
he deserves the notoriety.
Yeah. He said he
deserves
doesn't like to be in the spotlight, and she thought that it would be nice for us to feature. I think she was just looking for kind of a photo to kind of say, hey, he did this. But I went a little further and did a nice little article that Pete mentioned that'll be in the paper.
Well,
so,
thank you for doing that,
yeah.
and very well deserved.
It is very well deserved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and don't say kids today.
Yeah,
kids
right.
today.
Yeah, kids today.
But
Not all
no,
kids today.
Not all kids today.
Right.
So that's amazing. Well, thank you, Jeremiah.
You're welcome. Yep.
That is so sweet and such a good article. All right. Well, let's see. What else do we have? Anything?
Oh, just remind everyone, we've got
Yes.
2 4-packs of Kenny Chesney tickets that we're going to give away on the show on Friday. And keep an eye on our Facebook page. Later today, we will post what you got to do to win those tickets.
That's right. And they are literally free. You're just going to have to try a little harder, or just to try. Sign up for them. So look forward to being able to give our viewers a little bit of fun along the way.
That's like I said, it always amazes me the giveaways we're able to do here. It's
Hey,
great.
shout out to Chris Henry. He's the guy that knows how to hook that stuff up.
Okay.
Biscuit.
He does. He's always got some kind of fun thing he's giving away.
Yeah.
He's connected.
He does have all the connections. He knows how to do that stuff.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Jeremiah. And thank you to Pete for stopping by today. And I guess we will be right back here tomorrow with, do we have anything, James?
We're going to sing all of our favorite Kenny Chesney songs.
Okay. That sounds good.
That'll be real short for
She
me because I
thinks my
don't know any
tractor's
Chesney.
sexy.
Oh, is that Kenny Chesney?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I know one Kenny Chesney song.
You know a million Kenny Chesney songs. You just
doubt
don't
it.
know that you do.
The only one I knew is All I Want for Christmas is the Tan.
And nobody knows that song.
That's the one I know. I don't know why, but that's the
Oh
one
my
that sticks
gosh,
out.
you guys. All right. We need to have a talk after this show. All right. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye.